Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel here. I'm Alex. So today I want to talk about driving long distance in your Tesla Model 3. I have a used one, a 2018 Model 3, and I'm doing kind of a quick experiment to see what my average, watt hour per mile score is on a quick trip from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's about 200 miles roughly, give or take, depending on what part of the city you go to, and it's about a 3-hour trip. So currently right now I'm charging at about 63 kilowatts because I'm at a very full Tesla charging station in South Pittsburgh. There are maybe 8 stalls and 7 of them are filled, which means your charging rate goes down. So I'll also share some things that kind of I find annoying about Teslas on longer trips. The first one, if I'm going to share one right off the bat, is that when these charging stations are full, you sit and sit and sit. My charging from about 35% to 100 says it's going to take me an hour and 5 minutes. It should only be about a 45-minute thing whenever these chargers at 250 kilowatts can charge at their full capacity. But when you've got a bunch of people sitting here, it obviously takes a lot longer. So the whole trip should take about 3 hours of actual driving time. I should get from about 100% in Pittsburgh to about Harrisburg when I get there, probably about 10% depending on how fast I drive, how much, heat I'm using, how much extra I'm using in the car. So I'll have to charge when I get back to Harrisburg. But I want this to kind of show off what the car can do, what it can't do, what it doesn't do well, what I find to be really nice. A full tank of gas, if you will, only going to be about 15 bucks. So you're still saving money, but there obviously is compromising whenever you have to build in extra time for long trips. So why don't you say we hit the road here after this thing is done charging in 55 minutes. I actually was getting pretty antsy just sitting in my car waiting for the battery to reach 100%, so I took advantage of the beautiful weather and went for a walk. I always tell my friends and family who ask me, well, what do you do while the car is charging, huh? Well, my answer is always the same stuff you normally do anyway, like go for a run, go for a walk, go grocery shopping if you're charging near a supermarket like I was. Owning an EV is just as much about changing your mindset as it is about changing your fuel. All right, so I'm back from my walk and there's only 2 Teslas left at the station. About 25-minute walk to stretch my legs and be prepared to be in the car for 3 hours. Just my car and a Model S. Let's see how much percent I've got and how much time it says I've got left to charge here. All right, let's see. 14 minutes remaining, 93%, not bad. It's dropped obviously now down way lower, the charge rate, just because obviously the battery is much more full. That's pretty typical, which is nice. But another thing I don't like about Teslas, whenever you're at a station like this, if it's a high usage area or station, it might automatically drop it to 80% and then you're not really getting your full charge. So I set my car initially to 100% here at the charging part, and it drops it down for you. So if you're not paying attention, you might be like, wow, my charging time is really low, but actually it's because the car switched it to 80% for you. So just be cognizant of this whenever you're traveling. It'll let you re-drag this the whole way out to 100%, but just be aware that it sometimes does that whenever the station is full, like this one was. All right, we're at 99%. We're calling it. Let's do this. We're ending this. Thank you so much. To go. Close yourself. Good. All right, let's hit the road here. Good old Pittsburgh. I'm gonna jump to 100 and those 13 seconds that it took me to close the charge port. All right, the batteries aren't hot. Let's get moving, folks. All right, so on the road here, on some back roads until we get to the highway, 204 miles, and I'll have about 13% battery left, which is probably about right. I usually use about 85-90% of the battery on the long stretch of the turnpike, which also, by the way, costs $1 bajillion to drive on. Lots of tolls on the highway, especially the turnpike. I basically forced the car to tell me what it would be to get straight to Harrisburg without stopping. It wanted me to stop in a town called Somerset and charge for like 5 minutes to get 7% or something. But I can make it all the way to Harrisburg without stopping. As long as I don't go 85 the whole way, I should be fine. So what you will love if you've never had a Tesla or you're going on a road trip with one for the first time is the supercharging network is fantastic. It'll route you where you need to go, how long you need to be there, and when the car can stop charging and you can get back on the road. It'll tell you, good to continue with your trip now. You've got enough charge. So it's definitely a plus. So going downhill in a Tesla to me always feels like a small reward of sorts because of the regenerative braking. It's like free battery charging on the road. Your car's energy is literally recaptured. With your foot off the accelerator, the car converts its kinetic energy into chemical energy that is stored in the battery, where it's then later used to drive the vehicle. On long hills like this one, which Western PA is famous for, my percent meter often ticks up a percent or two, which is, again, like free mileage. You didn't even have to pay for it. All right, so after about 37 miles outside of the city of Pittsburgh, I'm finally reaching the turnpike. It's been about, 40 minutes with traffic. It was kind of heavy today. It's MLK Day 2023, so there's maybe some long weekend traffic or something like that. But so far, I'm at 238 watt-hours per mile average, which is much better than my trip out here. I'm well under my 300 plus watt-hour per mile average that I had before. So let's go through here with my Easy Pass, get on the highway, and let's see what we can discuss and highlight for you. My turn to merge, and Teslas do what they do best right here. Oh my god, yeah, just incredible merging power right out the gate. Just phenomenal. I mean, you can go from 15 to 65 in a matter of 3 seconds. So now we're up to speed here, about 65 miles an hour on the highway. I expect that watt-hour per mile average to change and to go up because I'm going to be obviously at highway speeds, and the air drag is going to be increased, along with any number of other things that happen at a high speed. But I want to highlight one thing I think is really, really great about these cars. They feel so sturdy on the road, and they feel so just kind of complete and solid when you're out on the highway. I mean, you've got that low center of gravity because of the batteries being in the floor underneath all of the seats, so you can maneuver in and around traffic very, very easily. Again, the speed at which you can pass a slower car or truck is just phenomenal. The only thing that sucks so far with trips for me is just how fast the battery does go down when you are doing 70 plus, or you're going up a hill. Going up a hill, the power is still there. The car will definitely move for you, but you can almost watch the percentage kind of tick down if that hill is longer than half a mile or something like that, which kind of sucks. You're like losing 3 miles in a matter of seconds just because you're going up a hill at highway speeds. And most of you know about the Energy app on every Tesla. It's built into the screen, obviously, and what you can do is when you go into the Energy app, it'll literally tell you some tips for how to save on your battery consumption, keeping the car at 70 miles an hour or below, keeping the climate control at 72 degrees or below, and then also it kind of gives you the breakdown of your elevation. Elevation cost 8% for this trip so far, but downhill saved you 5%, so it's a net loss of only 3% or something like that. So the Energy app is really, really great to kind of give you an idea of where you're using your most energy, where it's being consumed the most, and maybe how you can save a couple of percents here and there, which doesn't sound like a lot, but on a road trip, they do kind of add up. If you go like 85 the whole way, you might not be able to do it in one shot. That's kind of like a new game. Every time you drive on a longer trip, it's kind of like, you want to beat your previous personal best, your personal record, so it becomes a mini challenge you play with yourself, which not everyone would enjoy, I'm sure. It's great, and especially on days like today where it's really, really sunny, but it's only like 45 degrees outside. This car becomes kind of like a greenhouse with all the glass. Look at the roof. Obviously, there's glass everywhere. I don't have the heat on right now. I don't have my heated seat on either, and I'm perfectly fine in the car. It's holding the heat really, really well, so I'm saving on not using my climate control right now. But that could change, because if you know Pennsylvania weather, it can start snowing and or raining and be overcast in a matter of minutes here, but not yet. So stay tuned. We'll see how the rest of the trip goes. And for all you other, Model 3 lovers and drivers out there, let me know in the comments below what you kind of average on a road trip, or maybe even day to day. Like I said, mine's creeping up now closer to 300 because I am at highway speeds, but I'm kind of interested to see how efficient my car is, how efficient my driving is, if I should change anything. Again, it's just me in the car, no one else with me. I've got a trunk full of luggage and bags and stuff. So yeah, kind of interested to see how my car stacks up against everyone else's. It's 4 years old, yeah, a little bit more than 4 years old. It was built in December of 2018. To me, the battery degradation is not horrible. It's rated brand new at 310. I get about 286 is what it says, but I'll never get 286 because I don't drive 50 miles an hour with all the efficiency things in mind. I kind of drive in the real world, so I don't ever get the full range, and most people don't. That's kind of a normal thing. But yeah, let me know below what you get watt hour miles wise. Interested to see what you guys have. Alrighty, checking in again here, about 100 miles into my trip on this gorgeous Monday, and I'm really amazed. My average watt hour per mile has gone down to 251. So it's been kind of flat. It's been kind of downhill since we last checked in, and that has really helped my overall efficiency score. I'm trying to beat myself by quite a lot, and I'm doing pretty well, and I'm going 70 miles an hour, which is great. I'm at 61% state of charge at the moment, which is also really great. I've gained a few percents here and there, and like I said, I like to kind of play a game with myself to see if I can beat my previous score, if you will. I'm getting about like 2.5 miles per percent. One thing I also thought of that was really great to mention is to keep your battery consumption at an efficient level is to use cruise control to keep your car at a steady speed. To be honest with you, it really does make a difference because you don't even realize it sometimes. You start drifting closer and closer to 80 miles an hour if you don't have cruise control on. With that feature enabled, your car stays at a constant pace and is using kind of constant power. I try to regulate it myself, but if you glance away for a couple of minutes to look at the scenery or pay attention to something else, you're like, holy crap, I'm going 82, and maybe you're using more power than you want to. I don't feel like it's a huge sacrifice to be aware of all of these things, because when you're filling up, in quotes, for 15 bucks or less at a non-supercharger, I mean, it's worth it. You're saving 60 bucks plus if you have a premium fuel vehicle. It all makes sense to me, and it's kind of a fun challenge to take on each time to figure out how to get the most out of your car, out of your charge. I really enjoy it. Some older folks might not. I know there's family members in my family who just are like, that's too much to think about. It's too long to charge. It takes too long to get, your battery all juiced up. And I get it. It's not for everybody, and you do have to drive differently. But as far as the experience so far, like I said, we're about halfway. I think we're doing great. She's pulling through for us so far. All right, so we are 50% battery consumption used, 50% left, going about 67 right now, up a hill. I'm at about 256 watt hours per mile consumed. That's my average, I just checked. And as far as the energy app goes, I'm about 5.4% more energy consumed than the estimated vehicle consumption, which is not horrible. That number sometimes for me, when it's really cold out and or raining, is up above 10%. So I'm actually doing really well. The elevation has been great. It's equaling itself out. The battery charging is 0. The climate is, I'm in the green there, which is good because I don't have the climate control on. Of course, driving is always the most, and I'm using more than what the car would estimate, which is kind of funny because, again, they must use the oldest person ever for their vehicle EPA consumption numbers, because getting the actual vehicle estimated consumption out of your car is almost impossible. I don't know any other drivers who actually get what the Tesla itself tells you at the beginning of your trip. That being said, I still love the car. It's super fun to drive. The seats are so comfortable, and the back support and the lower lumbar support is just phenomenal. I've had Mercedes and other fancy cars, and the seats after 2 hours, your back is killing you. These are nice and plush and really, really comfy. Efficiency-wise, I think we are doing great. We are still well under the 300 watt-hours per mile average that I had coming out here. It was 300 plus, actually. So I have no complaints right now. On this short trip across Pennsylvania, about 45% battery charge right now, state of charge, and the temperature's dropping. It's getting closer to 40 degrees as the day goes on. It's getting obviously darker out. We're in that dusk kind of mode right now. The sun will be gone in about 25-30 minutes. I'm looking at the energy app. Only 5.4% more estimated energy consumption than what the car initially estimated. So I'm doing really well, and I'm not going 60 miles an hour. I'm kind of keeping up with traffic going 70. So this is really, really great. Super happy I wasn't caught in this huge backup going eastbound on the turnpike. I haven't experienced a complete standstill in my Tesla yet, just waiting and waiting and waiting for traffic to move again. I imagine it's pretty anxiety-inducing watching your battery charge tick down as you wait. Has this happened to anyone? I'm sure it has. Do you have any tips if it does? Let me know below. All right, totally dark. Finally made it to Harrisburg. I think we did really freaking well. Look at this number here, 260 watt hours per mile for 204 miles. That is not bad at all. It is well under what I got coming out to Pittsburgh with 310 plus watt hours per mile. Again, it was colder then. It was raining a lot then. This car is just so much fun to drive out on the open road. Yes, you've got to drive a little bit different. Yes, you have to be aware of things that you don't have to be aware of in a gas car, an ICE car as they call them. But yeah, this is just a really fun vehicle to take on obviously daily trips and for road trips as well. It is cents per mile. It's so inexpensive to travel in a Tesla. Obviously there's some costs up front, but way cheaper than gas, and to me more fun than gas, because it's just really cool to say you went 200 plus miles without using an ounce, a drop of liquid. It's really cool. I love that. Here's the breakdown of what I spent per mile with this most recent trip from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg. Okay, so let's recap the numbers of my trip. 204 miles total with 53 kilowatt hours of total energy used. When I charged up in Pittsburgh, I bought 50 kilowatt hours total of charge at 31 cents per kilowatt hour. That's a total cost of about $15.50. For the sake of this video, we're also going to assume, by the way, that those 3 extra kilowatt hours that were already stored in the battery also each cost 31 cents. Now, my Model 3's efficiency is rated on its window sticker at about 27 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, but I actually did better than that. I went 204 miles and used 53 kilowatt hours of energy. With some slight rounding and easy math, that's just about 26.5 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. I did better than the manufacturer and the EPA said I was gonna do. That's pretty cool. And the impressive figures don't end there. Let's figure out my cost per mile in cents and how many miles I got per dollar. For the first one, cost per mile, we have to figure out how many miles I got per kilowatt hour. Pretty easy, right? So 204 total miles divided by 53 kilowatt hours in total energy spent. That's about 3.85 miles of range per kilowatt hour. So for every kilowatt hour, my car went 3.85 miles. Now, just divide the cost of 31 cents per kilowatt hour by that 3.85 miles number we just determined, and it's just 8 cents per mile. 8 cents! That's just freaking incredible. I don't care what you say. That's a really good number. Now, compare that to a premium gas car, if you will, one that matches the Model 3's performance. Let's say it costs you $70 to fill up, and you get 350 miles on a tank. That's 20 cents per mile, and you still will spend $55 more to fill up compared to my Model 3. Alright, so what about my Model 3's miles per dollar? How many miles did I get for 100 cents? Alright, pretty easy here as well. 3.85 miles per kilowatt hour, which we already determined, times 1 kilowatt hour divided by 31 cents. That comes out to 12 miles per dollar spent. That's freaking great. I'm pretty happy with that. And remember, my numbers are the result of peak charging time at a supercharger. If I had actually had the luxury of using a home charger, a level 2 charger, before I hit the road and not a supercharger, my costs would have been significantly less. And that is it for this video here on Overdrive Reviews. Again, I'm Alex. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you are new to the channel, and leave something down below. Let me know what you thought about this video, if it was helpful for you, maybe some tips I'm not aware of, or some things you want me to know about for my next trip. I appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the comments. I love engaging with you guys. Until next time, have a good one.